Veux-tu danser avec moi?
Welcome to Creative Collab. I'm Josh, co-founder of Black Box Productions, a commercial production company working with brands seeking strategic, creative, and well-crafted videos.
And I'm Noah, the founder of Handmade Creative, a studio that specializes in 3D animation for advertising and healthcare.
And today we're talking about how to build your portfolio and the role of spec work.
A lot of times people consider spec work, making a fake commercial for an existing brand or doing work for free for clients. And I actually don't think either of those are great ideas or good ideas.
So wait, let me get this straight. You picked this topic, you suggested the topic of how to build a portfolio making spec work, and you're starting out by saying you are against making spec work. Do I get that right?
Spec work defined that way, when I'm super pro, is doing personal work.
Okay.
Work that you're going to maybe use to promote yourself, put in your reel, but it's not necessarily work that is fake for a brand. The great split that I'm always looking for in terms of when I look at freelancers reel, or I think it also applies to us as a motion design studio, is something in the neighborhood of 70-30-ish, where it's like 70% client work, 30% personal work. The client work is always important to really see that people can do it for real under a deadline, because I love seeing personal work. There's no sort of back and forth of having to adjust the creative on the way, so you can't tell how that's going to actually play out when they're actually doing a real client project. For me, the real value of the personal work is one, just that R&D to explore when you're free to fail, because we don't really have the option to fail when working with clients. So that's where you really stretch yourself, and you're doing R&D to develop new things, is to kind of move the ball forward in that case. People can only buy what they can see. So sometimes you get a little limited by what you've already done. And when you want to kind of break out of it, that's a great way to present it as something that you can then offer to a client.
Well, what you're saying makes me think of a couple things. First of all, I think there is quite a big difference in terms of what is possible between the live action side of things and animation, just in terms of the resources involved, all the different things that might go into a live action production where you would need a bigger team and either have everybody really believe in the project and volunteering and working together, or where you are sort of self-funding this project, and then you've really got to be confident that there's going to be, I guess, some kind of benefit from it at the end of the day, unless it really is truly a passion project. If someone's just starting out in video production as a videographer, you want to have some kind of a demo reel or a portfolio to look to. So you might take on a project and film something just for the sake of having it as part of your portfolio later on. And I think there is a lot of value to that. At the stage that we're at now, we're not really doing a lot of self-funded projects or spec work. The one thing that might be an exception to that rule is if you are looking to move in a new direction, where you don't have, like if there was a specific vertical we were trying to focus on, or there was a specific style of video that doesn't exist, that a client hasn't asked us for, that we truly believe in, that we want.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned style, because I think that's where it's very relevant sort of later in your career, or later in the course of a company. This is not the right move for every person's career or every company, but there's definitely a phase where you kind of want to move more into a directorial role, or being sought after for a specific vibe or a specific feel.
Often I think the best types of portfolio, as we're talking about, is to help a potential client visualize working with you producing something similar. But I can think of an exception to that rule, which is when we were first starting out in production, I worked on a lot of music videos. Showing that level of production value and creativity, it got a conversation started. Very often clients will be looking for a video that reflects exactly what they're looking for. But I do think there are situations where having something outside of the box gets people wanting to talk with you and have a conversation about how you can help them. All right, Noah, let's wrap this up. What are your key takeaways?
My key takeaways are something like the 70-30, 80-20-ish rule, that you want to have some self-initiated stuff in your portfolio, but the majority should still be client generated. But that personal stuff is super important. That's how you grow. That's how you stretch. That's how you expand your business. So make sure you're nurturing both sides.